Hi guys, today I'm gonna do a video talking about the little things you should check out before you start gaming on PC. First things, I would suggest downloading MSI Afterburner and the core temps or any types of software to know your CPU temperature, processor basically, and GPU temperatures, and monitoring is with this application. So here, everything that is monitored is showing right here. You have maximum and minimums for everything. The thing I want to look at the most is GPU usage. If it fluctuates while you're playing, there might be issues with the drivers or the game itself, which is a common thing if the game is new. It's not fully optimized yet, so it can be problematic. Also, you can adjust the fan speed. I'm doing it manually when I'm on the desktop. Normally I put it at 60 or around that, and when I game I put it at 90, just to be sure that the GPU stays cool. I don't really play with the power limit. It doesn't do much difference unless you have a really low spec GPU. If you have like a slow GPU, you could put it higher so it will like overclock itself a bit if it goes past the 100% power limit. To configure that, you can, for the fans I mean, to configure your fans you can put it with a graph basically where it adjusts itself depending on temperatures. It will adjust the fan speed, so it will do it automatically with your presets. But if you leave it at auto, it will adjust itself basically on NVIDIA's settings. NVIDIA sometimes has issues with this. The drivers for NVIDIA graphics card will basically have presets for different graphics card, and when it gets to certain temperatures it will lower or put up the fan speed. I don't really rely on those settings because there have been some issues before in the past where it wasn't really adjusting like it was supposed to do, so components would get hotter for no reason. So I want to keep an eye on the GPU usage while you're playing to see and know if there's issues. Sometimes your games might stutter and or just lag for no reason. It can be due to GPU usage fluctuating basically also. When you download MSI Afterburner, it comes with this Riva Tuner Statistics server, which is basically all these informations right here that you can show on your screen while you're playing. So you can just put this on like this, show on screen display, so it's going to show your FPS in game. Why and how I do it is basically you go into settings, monitor. Those who are checked out here are the ones who are going to show in this graph area basically. And if you want to configure GPU temperatures, for example, you just click on it, then show on screen. Then it will show up on your screen when you are gaming basically. Me for myself, I only have FPS, so FPS is frame rate over here. It's showing on screen. So when I'm gonna play the game, it will show up. Okay, now I started the game, and as you can see up there, it's my FPS, the frame per seconds. So it's basically your GPU renders frames each second to your monitor, and CPU also, they both work together. And if you want to configure a game and just have a feel for it, that's what you should do if you start gaming on PC. Every time you launch a new game, you have to like set up your graphic presets. Sometimes the game will do it by itself because it will detect how much video memory you have and adjust based on those those video memory, but sometimes it doesn't work well. And if you want to like optimize your FPS or frame rate so the game runs smoother, you can lower the anti-aliasing, VFX, lighting quality, shadows. Those are all things that are pretty demanding. VSync you want to check off all the time. Basically it just puts input lag, so there's going to be like a delay when you move your mouse and what you see on the screen. SSAO disabled, and screen space shadows also if you want to get some more FPS and make the game run smoother. Also resolution scaling is like 75. If you put 75%, it's going to be 75% of this resolution basically. So it will be easier for me to run the game. It will like scale up. Everything will look like it's that resolution, but it will be rendered at a lower resolution. So textures might look a bit less beautiful. Besides that, it's pretty much everything. Yeah, you need to also set sound and things like that, which is pretty common. I would say the sound system is pretty important, because the audio would change, and maybe footsteps and stuff like that for FPS games. If the game has a like show FPS thingy where you click on it and it shows your FPS, you're better off using that than the Riva tuner, because Riva tuner might actually make your game crash sometimes. I noticed with Warhammer, the game I just showed you, sometimes having this on, Riva tuner statistic server, makes your game crash. So I would suggest turning it off. Maybe like use it once to see the FPS you get in the game and see if it runs well. Anything like over 60-70 constantly is good, I think, for me. Depending on the game, if it's an FPS game, you want to get as much FPS as you can, of course. That's the rule of thumb, I guess. And for GPU and CPU temperatures, I wouldn't go like, for a CPU I wouldn't go over 70, and the GPU I would say like this is the temp limit for this one, is like 83. But to be honest, it's gonna be hard to hit 83 if you have like the proper cooling. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. Keep in mind, if you want to like, if you have issues and stuff, just change your drivers. Keep in mind, if you have issues with the game crashing or inconsistent like FPS or just random stutters and stuff, consider switching your drivers and maybe like installing it completely. Do a clean install. Any additional info, you can leave a comment down below and I'll answer your questions. If you like this video, feel free to like and comments. It's always appreciated. Leave me your feedbacks.